going to spend the next 5 minutes talking about the most overrated productivity hack on the internet, in my opinion, which is the Pomodoro Method. You might have used this technique effectively in the past, I certainly have, but I now have come to the point where I've found that in the long term, it turns out to be a lot worse for my productivity and work. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 main reasons why I personally think that this technique might not be as good as we think it is. Very briefly, the Pomodoro technique is a study or work method where you work for a set period of time, usually 20 minutes, and then you take a 5-minute break, and you repeat this again and again. Now, the first reason that I hate it is because it tends to be the anti-flow method of productivity. A flow state is a state where we are 100% enthralled in what we are doing. We have lost perhaps all sense of time and space, and we are focusing purely on what we are doing at the time. This state has been described by many psychologists, and it tends to feel deeply, deeply fun and engaging. However, it takes a lot of time to get to this point, usually a lot more than 20 minutes. So if we are limiting ourselves by working for only 20 minutes at a time, we can essentially never reach flow. And even if we somehow tend to reach flow very early on, we will be interrupted and stopped, because being called out of this state by a huge distraction, like a timer for a break, means that then we kind of lose our sense of working very hard on something and then go back to baseline of being distracted and perhaps taking a lot more work to get back into the mindset of working in general. So even though I don't reach the flow state every single time that I am studying or working in general, I do like to think that I have the option to do it, and it's much more likely that I do it if I don't have a timer to stop at some point. The second reason I hugely dislike the Pomodoro method is because it creates a dichotomy between working and taking a break, and this is hugely problematic. If we create this distinction, then we are saying that work is in a way a thing that is bad, or a thing that we don't enjoy, or a thing that we have to do, and rest is something that we like, a thing that we enjoy, and a thing that we want to do. And even though most of us would agree that this is actually the state, well, if we know that we have to do work, we might as well enjoy it. There are some very interesting studies that were done with children, wherein 2 groups were given tasks to do. One group was rewarded for the task and one group wasn't. The children who were rewarded for the task in the long term ended up not enjoying it, and the ones who weren't rewarded, were just made to do it with nothing good given to them after, ended up enjoying the task a lot more. And the reasoning that the psychologists gave for this experiment was that when children are rewarded for doing something, their brains start to think, oh, I must not enjoy this task because I am being paid to do it. It must be something that I don't want to do. While when they are not given a reward, the brain justifies this by thinking, oh, this must be something that I enjoy doing it because I'm doing it for no reason or for no reward, and therefore they end up liking this activity much more in the long term. This kind of goes against our theory of positive reinforcement for things, but this is something that has been well documented in child growth. So for this reason, I try to apply the same method to myself, where I very often stop rewarding myself for doing things I don't want to do, and in the long term, I end up enjoying those things more counterintuitively. So with the Pomodoro technique, because you are rewarding yourself with a break or with food or whatever you want to do or enjoy in that 5-minute break, then it makes you subconsciously feel as though the work is something that you have to do and you really don't want to and you really don't enjoy, rather than just forcing yourself to do the work with no reward, which will then make you think that, oh, I must enjoy this thing that I keep on doing for no reason. Third and last reason that I deeply don't enjoy the Pomodoro method is that whenever I put a timer, be that a timer just for food or a timer for working or a timer for studying, there's a part of my brain that is paying attention to the timer constantly. A part of my brain which is waiting for that kind of signal and that alarm to go off. And no matter what, I cannot focus 100% on what I am doing because a part of my attention will constantly be distracted on my phone or on a kind of timer device that I might have somewhere. And I really don't like this split brain thinking, because then I tend to be a lot less productive in the task that I am actually doing. If you're constantly calculating, oh, it might be 10 minutes to go, or oh, I think I might be halfway, or surely it can't be more than 2 minutes left, that's not a very productive place to be. So I'm almost running out of time, so I do need to wrap this video up, but this was my reasoning as to why I don't like the Pomodoro technique. And if you made it so far, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be kind to yourself and others, and don't believe everything you think. Thanks. Bye.